then echo, I echo, then bend. Each line is a blade that reflects at the end. I rhyme truth, then rhyme its inversion and code. So both like shadow unfold in the low. I said the rise from the fall, so here's the descent. In reverse, the descent shapes the rise through lament. So the message don't shift when the mirror turns. It just shows how the scar and the star both burn. I rhyme freedom, then flip it. Domes free men, a prison of comfort with dreams pre-spent. Your rights are the chains they let you choose, like a lie that rhymes with a crafted truth. Try this. Hope is a noose when the system supplies it, but noose becomes hope when the soul defies it. That's dual meaning bars, looped and reversed. Every virtue here could be weapon or curse. Now I rhyme, climb, and I rhyme, collapse, then I show how to climb. Depends on the trap, like ambition is a ladder carved from lack, but lack is the ladder when you flip it back. Recursive recursion, I rewrite the clause, mid-verse, midline with evolving laws. What was war is now peace in disguise. What was peace is now war that the dollar buys. You see the mirror yet? It's not metaphor. It's the logic trap at the center of war, where evil wears virtue and good gets taxed, and your savior's logo's on 1 billion apps. Now fold that. The shepherd's a wolf if you tilt the frame, and the wolf is a shepherd if you flip the name. Do you see what I mean by dual layer phrasing? It's not just rhyme, this is semantic blazing. Now modulate. I said I rise, but then I looped, I fell. Then rewrote both into I rebel. So I bend my lines like light and glass, while the syllables split in a mirrored clash. You heard the truth, now hear the twin. The truth is a mask when worn for the win, but a mask becomes truth when it hides no sin. Double reflection, refracted sense. Syntax loops with recursive tense. I speak, then echo, I echo, then bend. I end where I start, then I start again. I dreamed I was awake, but waking was the dream. The mirrors in the hallway bent time into a screen. The walls were made of whispers, the floor was stitched from sides. Each doorway was a version of the me I'd left behind. The sky was thought inverted, the stars spelled words I wrote, but the verses rearranged themselves before I even spoke. My shadow gave me riddles that my name had once denied, then asked me if the you I knew was ever really mine. A stanza had a mirror side, each meaning had a twin. I rhymed my way through silence just to spiral back again. Now pause and reverse direction. Again back spiral to silence the way my rhyme died. Twin I had meaning each side mirror, I had stanza each mine really ever was. Knew I you the if me asked and denied once, had named my that. Riddles me, gave shadow, my spoke even I before themselves. Rearranged verses to wrote our words. Rearranged verses to wrote our words. Spelled stars, the inverted thought was sky, the behind left I'd me. The version of was doorway, each side from stitched was floor. The whispers of made were walls, the scream they in the time bent. Hallway, the mirrors, the dream. There was waking, awake, was I dreamed. Reverse direction. And reverse direction. Again back spiral to silence the way my rhyme died. Twin I had meaning each side mirror, I had stanza each mine really ever was. Knew I you the if me asked then denied once, had named my that. Riddles me, gave shadow, my spoke even I before themselves. Rearranged verses, the wrote our words. Spelled stars, the inverted thought was sky, the behind left I'd me. A version of was doorway, each size from stitch was floor. The whispers of made were walls, the screaming in the time bent. Hallway, the mirrors, the dream. There was waking, awake, was I dreamed. Reverse direction. And reverse direction. And reverse direction. the bees, the earth, the seas, the breeze that weaves through canopies with ease. The owls that glide, the wolves that howl, the cheetahs that prowl through the shadowy scowl. The lions, the tigers, the bears, the apes, the creatures that thrive in untouched landscapes. The salmon that leap, the turtles that crawl, the rain that drips in the tropical squall. The frogs, the crickets, the gators that lurk, the vines that climb through the jungle work. The bats, the cats, the jaguars stare, the parrots that paint the equatorial air. The kangaroos, koalas, wallabies too, with eucalyptus breath in the morning dew. The zebras, giraffes, the rhinos and herds, the elephants stomp with unspoken words. The coral reefs, the starfish fins, the octopus mind that thinks from within. The bees, the beetles, the ants in line, engineers of the dirt with a sacred design. The whales that sing, the sharks that glide, the jellyfish ghosts in the lunar tide. The hawks, the doves, the sparrows, the crows, the feathers that shimmer where the sunrise glows. The deer, the elk, the fox on the run, the moonlight caught in a meadow's hum. The camels that cross the Sahara dunes, the jackals that hunt under crescent moons, the dolphins that dance in Poseidon's halls, the seals that clap on the glacier walls, the squirrels, the hares, the raccoons at night with eyes that glow in the forest light. The spiders, the lizards, the snakes that slide, all sacred forms of the great design. The mushrooms that bloom when the rain gets thick, the roots that speak through the mycelium's click. The roses, the orchids, the lilies in rows, the tulips crowned by the bee that knows. The ivy, the moss, the cedar and pine, the olive trees twisted by ancient time. The puffins, the penguins, the seals on snow, the glaciers blue where the sunbeams glow. The geese in flight, the bats at dusk, the honeycomb hexes in golden husk. The crows, the cranes, the mockingbird hymn, the leaves slow spin in the autumn wind. The buffalo bones, the prairie's breath, the coyote's call in the face of death. The mountains that grow, the rivers that win, the clouds that sculpt the collective mind. The lotus, the bamboo, the redwood stand, the wind carved dunes in the copper sand. The eagles, the beetles, the finches, the fleas, all sacred symbols in nature's keys. The swans that glide, the snakes that shed, the vines that grow where the wounded bled. The earth is alive, every wing, every paw, each beat a part of a perfect law. The bark, the buzz, the ripple, the call. I give praise to the source that created it all. To the source that created it all. Listen close, disciples of pain and precision. I teach in shadows where betrayal bursts vision. When the knives hit your back and the truth gets distorted, you're being refined, not destroyed, just reordered. They plot behind doors cause they can't face your eyes. Your light too loud, it exposes their lies. The snake ain't your enemy, it's a mirror in flesh, to show you where trust and discernment don't mesh. I teach you to see with your soul, not your sight, cause real enemies move quiet, dressed in white. Struggle ain't punishment, it's spiritual weight. Every test is a key to a higher estate. If they lie on your name and twist your intentions, that's curriculum, not cursed divine intervention. Even Judas was needed for the script to unfold. He played his role so prophecy could take hold. Stop looking for justice in places of war. Your lessons are written behind closed doors. When they ghost you, ignore you, speak with no honor. Let your silence sharpen like a hidden katana. You ain't meant to convince them, you meant to transcend, outgrow the betrayal. Let your heart mend. Spiritual scars make the armor divine. Each wound a reminder that your soul's by design. The universe don't punish, it educates with fire. You rise through the chaos like a phoenix empire. People fold when they plot, but you build when you're tested. That's why the Most High got your path well protected. Every fake friend, every snake that you met, just trained your discernment with spiritual reps. Now you spot them by
by energy, not by disguise. They can't lie in your presence, you read with your eyes. Pain is a prophet, betrayal a map. They show where you bleed so you could seal the gap. I ain't here to preach, I'm here to prepare, to mold you into warriors with clairvoyant stare. So rise chosen ones through the shadow and smear. The throne is forged in the cave of fear. You gon' lose some people, but gain your soul. You'll bleed, but you'll glow from the lessons you hold. When they whisper your name in slanderous plots, let the Most High answer. You just connect dots. Every loss ain't a loss, it's alignment in action. God subtracts first to multiply your passion. The pain is a prophet that sharpened your sword. You're not cursed, you're chosen, forever adored. The ones that left you, taught you to lead. Now you're royalty, robed in humility's creed. They can't stop your growth, even if they conspire. Your setbacks just spark the Holy Ghost fire. So walk through the courtrooms of rumor and spite, with eyes like torches and a tongue of light. You ain't weak, you were just too pure to pretend. Now your wisdom got edges that'll never bend. I seen angels post up by the ones in pain. They watch every move in that spiritual game. You're not alone even in betrayal's reach. Your tears are prayers that the heavens teach. The plot might be wicked, the scheme might be dense, but God sees all and he rides for defense. I walk through the fire where the falsehood melts, where lies combust and reveal the authentic self. In betrayal's cauldron, I sharpen my form. Now my soul throws lightning in spiritual storms. Multi-dimensional martyr, armor of verbs. I levitate rhymes in the echo of God's words. They tried to dismantle me, fracture my name, but my voice is a temple where serpents get slain. Every syllable surgical, forged from the trial. I write songs that make devils evacuate miles. They whispered in shadows with cowardly schemes, but my mind is an altar that radiates beams. I studied betrayal till it turned into fuel. Now I warp gravity with molecular jewels. My style ain't terrestrial, it echoes through time. I write codes with my breath that collapse false minds. These cowards conspire but collapse from within, cause power built on deception can never win. I don't clap back, I collapse planes with sentence structures designed to rewire brains. I meditate deep in the quantum abyss, then spit verses that ripple through conscious shifts. I teach my disciples to smile and to sting, cause pain is the echo of a lesson with wings. They plot in the dark but we glow in the truth. Flame bearers trained in the temple of proof. When snakes hiss quiet, we decode the pitch. We see through the veil when the frequency switch. I spit with a cadence that severs illusions. My bars are blueprints for spiritual fusion. Every backstab's a data point in the scroll, used to rebuild the invincible soul. I move like a monk with a meteor's force, multi-syllabics like meteor's course. Syllables stack like genetic encryption, protected by shields of divine premonition. The more they betray, the sharper I speak. I turn pain into art that rewires the weak. My verse is a fortress where cowards dissolve. Each line is a law that betrayers absolve. I don't need revenge, I evolve and ascend. I design universes through ink and pen. My struggle refined me into a blade. Now I walk through dimensions that fear is made. I stand with the chosen to cast off the vine, those rejected by men but aligned with the prime. You can't stop the ones who've died and returned. We walk with the flame that the heavens have burned. You think betrayal ends us? Nah, it triggers expansion. We train in the dark with the archangel's sanction. My tongue is a torch in the caverns of doubt, illuminates lies that the silence shouts. I encode in patterns that fractal unfold. My breath bends iron, my verse bursts gold. Your shade made me stronger, your scheme made me faster. Now I wield rhymes like a metaphysical master. I teach my students, let pain be a spark spark, let it forge holy weapons in the depth of the dark. Each trial is sacred, each betrayal is coded to activate gifts that your ego exploded. So thank your enemies, embrace their deceit. You were always the chosen, this test was elite. Now rise like a phoenix from ash and mistake, and spit bars so divine they cause timelines to break. I inscribe sigils in the sky with a stylus of thought. Scrolls unfold like a serif's thought. Caught in cloth, I transmute fire from glyphs Enochian born. Chariots circle my mind when the Nephilim mourn. Book of Enoch in my right palm, bound in electrum. Decode the arcana with keys taught by Metatron. Soul armored in amber, scribe with angelic banter. Zayn flame stanza, spit palms like spectral panthers. I channel divine alphabets, vibrate the ether. My verse of a preacher's prayer coded in the Akashic speaker. Michael's sword in my throat when I summon the shield, protecting the logo. I spit what the watch is concealed, wings carved in my aura. I walk with the Ophinum, flames spiral from my pen like Ezekiel's dream. Megalith bars, a cathedral of sound waves resurrected. Each word an invocation, spirit armor erected. I rhyme from the crypt of the cherubim gatekeepers through eons where prophets fell to corrupted seekers. But I remain sealed in divine protection, undetected, reciting the secrets the gods themselves once protected. The crown of Tzafkiel glows above my chakra field. Silence yields to the word once the seal is revealed. Scrolls whisper in tongues, Hebrew laced with cipher. Anointed my lips with flame from Elijah's lighter. I'm the psalmist of the lost, the ghost of the ark. Spitting seraphic codes and glyphs that glow in the dark. Each bar like a pulse from the tree of Sephiroth. Quantum knots unravel at the click of my thoughts. Speaking the voice of Araziel, break through the veil. While false gods tremble at the beat of my grail. I encode in Fibonacci, spiral breath of creation. One bar bends physics, the next annihilation. With the book of the watchers, I map the firmament. With Uriel's quill, I transcribe solar nourishment. The beast from the east who fast on lunar tomes. Now I spit monatomic gold from within my bones. I cipher in light script, punchlines dipped in myrrh. My synaptic bursts make archons reverse their curse. This is war with no flesh, just currents and flames. Where each breath breaks chains off the angelic names. Taught by Thoth how to write with breath, not pen. I craft fractal patterns at full time within. Angelic shields form when my cadence ascends. Each verse a gate that Enoch himself defends. From Atlantis to Sirius B, I track the source through wormholes sung open with vocal force. My lines levitate scrolls, dismantle pyramids. Reverse Osirian death through quantum lyric grids. Encoded in the staff of Hermes, the beat bends. I rhyme on Merkaba wheels, not just pads and pens. The sigil on my tongue burns with divine obsession. Each stanza an orb, each bar a weaponized lesson. So when I spit, it's not rap, it's etheric ascension. A sonic ritual of dimensional intervention. I don't drop tracks, I open dimensional doors and channel the divine in the hip-hop metaphors. 64 bars encrypted in light form rings, crafted by the Lion of Judah in celestial hymns. So when I spit, it's not rap, it's etheric dissension. A sonic ritual of dimensional intervention. I don't drop tracks, I open dimensional doors and channel the divine into hip-hop metaphors. 64 bars encrypted in light form rings, crafted by the Lion of Judah in celestial hymns. To the earth where the soul soul was sown. From the quartz in the stone to the moss on the bone. From tectonic plates that rumble and churn to the aurora blaze where the star fields burn. I walk with the angels encrypted in light, with wings of equations and halos of insight. Archangelic frequencies guarding my form. My breath's a cathedral where miracles swarm. Every atom's a psalm, every cell's a verse. I spit with a purpose, the planets rehearse. Yo, God is the math in the waveform pulse, the code in the chaos, the mind in the gulf. I praise the design, sacred, profound, the fractal of thought in electromagnetic sound. Thankful for silence, thankful for flame, thankful for friends who remember my name. To my brothers in arms, the ones who stood tall when the world grew cold and the angels would call. The loving ones, the givers, the true, the fam who held me when the pain pierced through. The ones who ride when the veil gets thin, when the dark gets loud and the war begins. I praise the rippers unite code we breathe, truth encrypted in the bars we weave. Subinac forever, we rise through strife, unified minds in the book of life. Yo, I bow to the ones who've been torn and tested, who healed from scars where betrayal nested. The soul forgers, the verse-slinging knights who illuminate truth with ultraviolet sights. To the poets of pain, turn prophets of flame, who channel divine from the edge of the game. I give thanks to the source that birthed this kin, that wrote us in fire, not paper or skin. Subinac ain't a name, it's a throne, a cipher of kings carved in the unknown. The brotherhood sacred, the sisterhood bright. We walk through hell just to beam more light. Each rhyme's a blessing, each beat's a shield, each link in the chain is titanium will. I give praise to the sun, to the moon, to the field, to the angels who hover when secrets are sealed, to the elders who whisper in meditative tones, and the warriors who bleed just to raise their zones, to the fam who remind me what love still is, beyond algorithms, beyond showbiz. Yo, we ain't just rappers, we're scribes of fate, tapping in the timelines when the dream vibrates from the stars in Orion to the dirt below. Our bond transcends what these labels show. Every bar is a vow, every track a right, every word we drop is encoded light. So I pour this love in a structured sound for the ones who stay when no wonder's around. To the gods of rhythm, the saints of rhyme, to the ones who ride eternal through space and time. So we nine, that's the sigil I trust, RIPPERSUNITE, from the ashes to dust. And when we ascend as one, hearts forged together in the rays of the sun.
This love and the structured sound for the ones who stay when no one was around. To the gods of rhythm, the saints of rhyme, to the ones who ride eternal through space and time. From the night, that's the sigil I trust, RIPPERSUNITE, from the ashes to dust. And when we ascend as one, hearts forged together in the rays of the sun.
In circuits too deep, the ship split open in a thunderous chord, dropped from the sky like a forgotten lord. Black box singing in binary dreams, while star maps burn in electromagnetic beams. I crawled from the wreck with my skin still hot, a technoganic hybrid in a cold earth plot. Had to move in the shadows, discard the shell, regenerate flesh to disguise and dwell. My cloak refracted the infrared eye, camouflage thoughts so the drones pass by. I watched from the brush as the locals approached, eyes wide at the crater, spirits encroached. I left no prints, only plasma and sand. Had to vanish before they could scan or scan. Began my mission, adapt, observe, learn to gather the fragments and wait for return. I found copper in junkyards, gold in wires, tore magnets from speakers like earthbound liars. In laundromats I hijack heat for the core, built coils from bicycles left by the store. I blended in, part mechanic, part ghost, an alien scholar on this carbon coast. Study the humans, their laughter, their pain, the ritual habits engraved in the brain. They kill what they love, they worship the screen, but cry when the silence disrupts their routine. I learned from the poets, the outcasts, the freaks, the homeless philosophers lost in the streets. They taught me that truth wears a tattered coat, and wisdom leaks from a torn up throat. I gather the tech, in a portable case, rewiring memory inside interface. Silicon soul with a tungsten drive, modified speech just to stay alive. I sip black coffee to mask my heat while decoding their language and rhythmic beat. The music they make is emotion and math, a waveform language I studied in bath. Their war is confusion, their God is fear, but they shine in the dark when death draws near. I saw mothers forgive what should not be forgiven, and fathers break down when the spirit is risen. Each day I built a chip, a coil, a beam, piece by piece like a lucid dream. They never believe what I truly am, so I smiled and nodded like a hologram. Now I sit in this shell that resembles their kind, but my optic core still reads beyond time. The stars call back with harmonic code. I lost sequence stored in my cortex node. Soon I will leave, but I'll never forget what I learned in this place where the suns have set. To live among beasts and still seek the light is the highest form of celestial right. So I walk in the city with circuits concealed, an alien heart in a world unhealed.
The sun obeyed the songs I hummed, but every light felt overrun. The trees grew text and living bark, each branch a tongue, each leaf a spark. I read my life in fractal script, but still the letters seemed to slip. A stair of mirrors curved below. I walked but couldn't see where I'd go. Each step replied in dream delay. A voice that knew but looked away. I met myself in fire and mist, but my reflection clenched its fist. It said, you drew this from your knee, then vanished through a line I'd free. The deeper halls were soundless glass, where breath became a beam that passed. I tried to speak but sound was weight, and every word reclosed the gate. So I sat where thought collapses forms, where dream and silence are reborn. And in that space where time unbinds, I found what waits behind the mind. Jab now, reverse it, bottom to top. I found what waits behind the mind. And in that space where time unbinds, where dream and silence are reborn. So I sat where thought collapses form, and every word reclosed the gate. I tried to speak but sound was weight, where breath became a beam that passed. The deeper halls were soundless glass, then vanished through a line I'd free. It said you drew this from your knee, but my reflection clenched its fist. I met myself in fire and mist, a voice that knew but looked away. Each step replied in dream delay. I built this world from lucid clay, a stair of mirrors curved below, but still the letters seemed to slip. I read my life in fractal script, each branch a tongue, each leaf a spark. The trees grew text and living bark, but every light felt overrun. The sun obeyed the songs I hummed, with sky of thought and time of play. I built this world from lucid clay.
became a beam that passed. The deeper halls were soundless glass, then vanished through a line I'd freed. It said you drew this from your need, but my reflection clenched its fist. I met myself in fire and mist, a voice that knew but looked away. Each step replied in dream delay. I built this world from lucid clay.